We all know that if you want volume, you have to go for bombshell coils. But do you know how to actually coil your hair to have the best results? Stick around and find out how. Hello besties, welcome to another episode of Everything Here. So if you're only following me on TikTok, YouTube, right, you don't know what you're missing out. Connect with me on Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest. I post amazing behind the scenes. But while you're here, right, make sure you tap that like, subscribe, and turn on notification so you don't miss out, guys. So first things first, we're going to begin with the bleaching of the lace. So I did this hack where I turned one frontal into two closures, right? So yeah, so I had to replace the frontals on my client's wig. So yep, so now we are going to bleach it. First we are going to go in with our bleaching powder, then we are going to go in with our developer. So I always advise you use a lower developer when bleaching your hair, guys. This one is almost like 20 or 30%, which I do not recommend at all as a beginner, not at all. So yeah, so I'm going to mix until I have that creamy texture before I'm going to begin my process. So always use a lower percentage of developer to avoid stories at touch. I rather you wait for 10 to 25 minutes than wait for 5 minutes, and if you're late by an inch of a second, a millisecond, guys, you'll be crying blood, honestly. So yeah, so this mixture wasn't just for this closure. So I think you noticed I was also going to bleach another week as well, just that this one was there, so I decided to show the process as well. So I actually forgot to put my hosing spray and slick the hair back. That way my mixture, my bleaching cream is not going to touch this strands of hair that keep popping up. So I discovered that midway, and I just had to do what I had to do because I really had a lot I was doing these days. So yeah, so just make sure all the knots are covered, all the lace is covered, and then you let it sit. So for the developer I was using, right, I let this sit for a max of 5 minutes, guys, and after this I was even contemplating of reducing the wait time maybe to 3.5 minutes or 4 at most, cause I noticed that this developer is really fast, like it's so rapid, and any brief mistake is going to end in you trying to correct over bleach, you trying to do this and that. So yeah, so I let this sit for a while. Like I said, I let this sit for 5 minutes, which I think was okay per se, because the lace on this wig actually did tolerate that. So there was another week that I did, and that 5 minutes was a lot for it. That's why I said instead of using a high developer and then over your shoulder, yeah, this other week was a 360 week, I rather use a low developer and wait for 10 to 20 minutes. So yeah, so since this is not a bleaching tutorial, I didn't really show everything in it, but that's what the hair was looking like at the end. So yeah, so after letting it dry overnight, I began the styling process the following day. So I also did revamp this hair. So this is part of the hairs that I revamped. If you've seen my previous video of how I revamped 9 weeks, this week was among. So after revamping the wig, I went into undo the wig and change the closure of the wig and then style it before sending it to my client. So yeah, so I'm going to go in and use my heat protectants first, and then I'm going to use my hot comb to slick the hair back. So yep. So yeah, so I'm going to do this so that I can go in and style my closure before I get into the process proper. So yeah, so if you're going for a C pad, you can just go ahead and mark out your C pad. If you're going for a middle pad, you can just go ahead and make a straight line. So use your measuring tape, don't be shy, so that you know exactly where the straight lies. So after doing that, I always go in with my office pins and I just pin the frontal down, and then I go into mold my closure, and here's what my molded closure is looking like. Absolutely perfect. So after that, I go in with my holding spray to just give that additional hold, and yeah, let's begin the straightening process. So I'm actually quite surprised that I speed up the whole process. Yeah, I'm very surprised I speed up the whole process. So basically, I just coil using bombshell coils, right? So guys, there's something that I've always been watching about these bombshell coils. With bombshell coils, everyone seems to have their own methods. I don't know if it's versatile or what, but let me know what you know about bombshell coils, because with reverse bombshells, it's pretty easy. If you're on the left, coil to the right. If you're on the right, coil to the left. But with bombshell coils, some people on the right will coil to the right, some on the left will coil to the left, some will coil the opposite direction. So, which one do you do, and which one do you think is preferable? So here's what our wig is looking like already. So I just did tie this so that I could melt the lace further, right? So yeah, so I wanted to melt the lace further. That's why I had to put my melting spray and I tied it down so that I could melt it. So yeah, so here's what it's looking like. And this is a glueless wig, right? So yeah. So I really hope my client is going to enjoy this week, because I had a lot of fun doing this week. And I think it was looking perfect. So I'm going to send this week pinned, because she's not going to use it for a while. So I didn't unpin the coils, I didn't unravel the coils, I didn't comb the coils out. I just sent it as you can see on the video. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. So about our coil techniques, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about bombshell coils. Let me know what you think about reverse bombshell coils, and which one do you prefer. So guys, I always preferred bombshell coils, right, because of the volume and all of that. But then recently I did reverse bombshells and I was like, that's not so bad, even though I know there are two different coils to achieve two different results. But I think I'm always going to use bombshell coils, and maybe for my closure of frontal, I'm going to use reverse bombshell, and then for the frontal I'm going to use bombshell coils, right? So yeah, to kind of frame the frontal or the closure. So yeah, so guys, we're done, and thanks so much for watching. That's the end of the video. So I'm just going to make this hair sit pretty while I figure out what next I'm doing, because I had like 2 or 3 weeks for this particular client I had to send out. So yeah, so I'm going to do just that, and make sure you check out my channel, because you might just see some other tutorials you might be interested in. So thanks for watching. If you find this video helpful, interesting, or entertaining, make sure you give it a like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you turn on notifications so you don't miss out on anything. Bye bye.